Starting in November 2024, the Vietnamese government have updated their eVisa portal. So if you go to the old official link, you're probably going to see a notice to say that you need to go to a different link, and this is the link. And I'll put this link in the description below. I will say that the website does take a minute or two to load. If you're feeling a little anxious or in a rush, just bear with it. However, if you're really desperate to get this done quickly, I can recommend a reputable third party in the description below who can help you expedite your Vietnam eVisa. So here on the government portal, to get started, we're going to click on Apply Now. Here you just read through the declaration instructions. Make sure you read all of these carefully. You do need to put all of the information in English, and also just read through here. Make sure you understand everything. You need to make sure that the border crossing that you're going to is valid. This is particularly important for those land border crossings. And you can read through here all the different options and also the different airports and seaports. Have a read through, make sure you understand everything, you're happy with it. And once you're ready, go ahead and click to the bottom. And you're going to click that confirm compliance, followed by that further tick, and then go ahead and click next. After you click next, it's going to still be on that first page. It takes about a second to load to the actual application form. And so here it starts off with your passport style photo and a copy of the biodata page in your passport. So one common question I get asked is, can I wear glasses in my passport style photo? The unfortunate answer is no. You will need to remove your glasses for the photo. And you can see here all the different requirements for this. And you don't need to overthink it. It's really just a passport style photo. If you want to take a photo of yourself up against a white door, go for it. A white wall, perfect. Just make sure that's a nice, crisp, clear photo. And for the biodata page of your passport, just make sure that's clearly done. You can use your smartphone to take a photo of it and upload it there. You don't need to take it somewhere to have them scan it or anything like that. Just a simple smartphone photo will do. Just make sure it's perfectly clear and legible. You don't want it to be blurry. And so when you upload that passport style photo of yourself and your passport's biodata page, it's going to auto-populate some details. Just go ahead and check that. Make sure that all that information is correct. And then once you're ready, go ahead and move on to this next section here. You can see here a question about, have you ever used any other passports to enter in Vietnam? If you're a dual citizen of another country and you've used that nationality's passport, let's just say you've got a Canadian and a Mexican passport and you previously went on your Mexican passport, but you're going to enter on your Canadian one this time, you would say yes. And you can see here, you just enter in those details. So another passport that you may have used is maybe it's a previous passport. Maybe you went to Vietnam 12 years ago on a previous passport. You could put that information there as well. The question of, do you have multiple nationalities? If you don't know what that means, you probably don't. But if you're a dual citizen, say you're Canadian and Irish, you would answer yes, and you can put in the details there. Doesn't look like they want your passport details, just they want to know what other nationality you are. This is pretty straightforward for a visa question. The next question is, have you ever been in violation of Vietnamese laws or regulations? If you've never been to Vietnam, the answer is going to likely be no. If you have been in violation of any regulations, you're just going to need to put in the information. So answer this as truthfully as possible. And then once you're ready, you go on to that next section, that requested information. It's asking, do you want a single entry or a multiple entry? And then it's asking, grant eVisa valid from. And so this is going to be the day you arrive in Vietnam. So if you're arriving on the 1st of January, you want your visa to be valid from the 1st of January. You're not going to want it to be on the 2nd or the 3rd. You want it to be that day you arrive in Vietnam. And so we open up the calendar here. So some of you guys are probably like, what in the world? You can see here, this video is being done in November 2024. I'm going to go by this 11 here. It is actually the 11th of November when I do this video. So this is today. We're just going to pick a random date. I'm going to say I'm arriving on the 1st of December and I need this valid. I'm only going for 2 weeks. So I'm just going to say, we'll say the 15th. That should be fine. So here in step 3, you just need to fill in the remainder of your passport information. It will auto-populate your passport number. It didn't fill in the issuing authority / place of issue for me, nor did it select the type, date of issue. However, it did select the expiry date. And so for type, chances are your passport is probably an ordinary passport. So go ahead and select that from the drop-down menu. Date of issue, just double check the date of issue on your passport and double check that that expiry date that's pulled through is correct. For issuing authority or place of issue, this should be noted on your passport. And then you see here, do you hold any other valid passports? If you type in yes, it's likely you're a dual citizen. Contact information, you have the permanent residential address. And so I've had people ask me, I don't understand if this is in Vietnam or if this is in my home country. Fill in the details of wherever you live. The next is your emergency contact. Make sure this is somebody who can be reached when you're traveling. I don't honestly know if they're going to contact them. And so we scroll on down, and occupation. A lot of people overthink the occupation questions. I see a lot of people coming to me and saying, but I'm a student, I therefore don't have an income. Are they going to reject me? Or somebody says, hey, I'm actually retired, I don't have an income. And you just don't need to overthink this. If your occupation, here you can see here, retired is considered an occupation. Student, you can see all of the different options here. You just put in the info of your occupation. I mean, if you're retired, I wouldn't expect them to require you to put in information. You can even see here, this is not a required field. So once you've entered in the information that applies to you, scroll on down to this 6. You can see here, they want to know about your trip. Why are you coming to Vietnam? Probably a tourist. If you're coming to work in Vietnam, this is not the visa for you. You do need a work permit, and coming as a tourist is not a work permit. So moving on to the intended date of entry. Earlier, I put in that 1st of December. I've put in I'm going to be there for 15 days. They also want to know what my phone number is in Vietnam. Now, if you are going to take your phone with you, then it's probably going to be your number. It's not a required field, you'll notice that. But if you want to have a phone with you, maybe you have a really good data package with your current provider, or if you're looking for a data package, I can put a recommendation in the description below to help you find an eSIM that you can take with you to Vietnam. It'll be cheaper than having your phone on roaming while you're in Vietnam. And so next you see here, we've got the residential address in Vietnam. This could be your hotel. Notice that they're not asking you to upload any documentation to prove you've booked a hotel. If you're looking for a hotel in Vietnam, you like the look of it, but you're a little bit too nervous, you're like, oh, I don't want to book this in case my visa gets rejected, that's okay. You can put down tentative information, and you only need to put down the first accommodation here. You don't need to give them your whole itinerary. So you scroll on a little bit down here, and this intended border gate of entry. Many of you are probably going to be flying in. If you're driving in, I'm sure you can check this with your tour operator, or if you are self-driving, I'm sure you'll plan it accordingly. Probably very organized. Your intended border gate of exit. Many of you, it's going to be an airport, but for those of you who are driving in, you'll know what to do here. And then here, you just tick that you're basically committed to not breaking any laws. You scroll on down here, and basically you just need to read through this, make sure you understand it, answer all these questions truthfully. This first point here about agency / organization / individual that the applicant plans to have contact with when they enter Vietnam. If you're going to visit somebody in Vietnam, maybe it's a significant other, a friend, somebody, you would need to select yes, and you just fill in their information there, and they can help you with that information. Have you been to Vietnam in the past year? Yes or no. Put in the details of your last visit if it was within the last year. Fine. Do you have any relatives who currently live in Vietnam? Yes or no. If you do, you can put in their details there. If you don't, just click no. Now, this next question is about children under 14, asking if they're issued on the same passport as the parent. I don't know any nationalities that still practice this. So chances are your child is going to have their own passport, and they will need their own application. I honestly don't know of any nationalities that still put children on passports. I have seen them listed on Brazilian passports. The child themselves has their own passport. So in that situation, that child would need their own visa. Once you're ready, you scroll on down to trip expenses. Again, you can see here it's not mandatory. Just give them a ballpark figure. Did you buy insurance? I sure hope you did. Don't want to deal with unwanted medical expenses abroad, especially repatriation fees that can be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you want some recommendations on travel insurance, I'll put some suggestions in the description below. Now, the next question is who will cover the trip's expenses of the applicant? You can see here it's personal or company. If your mom and dad are paying for this, chances are they gifted you the money, so it would be personal. If it's company, that's more likely a business trip. So once you're ready, go ahead and click on this box here. Review your application, make sure it is all correct, and then go ahead and click next. It's going to take you to a page to review your application form. And so you're going to see a photo of yourself, that passport data page. It's also going to compare the images in your passport to make sure it's a match. If you have that copy of your passport photo, may as well use it. And then it's going to show all the information that it's populated. And once you're ready, you're happy with your application, go ahead and enter in that security code in the lower left-hand corner and then click next. And once you click next, you're going to see here this notice that your declaration's being completed. It's going to give you that electronic document code, and it's also going to show your email. You should get an email, but I would go ahead and make a screenshot of this. If you want to print a copy, you can see here, you can click print. Once you're happy with all this information, it is correct. Check your passport number, your nationality, date of application, all that. Make sure it's correct. And like I said, make a note of that document code. I would screenshot it. I would not write it down. Take a photo of it with your smartphone. Once you're ready, go ahead and click confirm. And here we have the payment page. Again, check everything is correct. Make sure you're happy with everything. You see here, it's $25 US. And one thing I've heard from people is that sometimes the payment portal isn't working. This one is brand new as of November 2024. So I would expect there to be some teething issues. Maybe they've got it worked out, maybe they don't. If you're desperately needing to get your Vietnam eVisa sorted, you can go through a reputable third party, and I have information about that in the description below, just so that you can get it done and you can start your trip on the right foot. It will cost you more than $25, but like I said, it's a reputable third party. They can expedite it. And I know from people giving me feedback that they've had great experiences with it, specifically for their Vietnam visas, when maybe the system wasn't quite working the way they had expected. And so once you're ready, go ahead and scroll on down and you're going to click I agree to pay, but I would just have a read through it just to manage your expectations. It does say that the e-visas are processed within 3 working days after you have paid. And so once you're ready, go ahead and click I agree to pay. Here we are on the payment page. And so here you can see that it's gone from US dollars on the initial payment page into Vietnamese dong in the upper right-hand corner. Now, I don't know if you're going to be charged in Vietnamese dong or US dollars. If that is a genuine issue for you, that you do not want to pay in Vietnamese dong, you want to pay in your preferred currency, whether that's US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, British pounds, whatever. As I have mentioned throughout this video, there is a reputable third party. You can pay in your preferred currency, but you will pay more for the application as a whole. So just bear that one in mind. Now you can pay by, it says ATM card. You can see the different banks here. You can pay by card here. And so select on the card that you're going to use. It's then going to redirect us to this payment page and you're going to fill in your card details. And then once you're ready, go ahead and click continue, and it's going to process that payment. Your visa is going to be delivered to you electronically. You're not going to get anything in the post. I know people have asked me, but can I get a sticker instead? You're going to get an e-visa. And I recommend you print this out and take it with you to Vietnam. Make a few copies. And so you're going to get your visa within probably about 3 working days. Hopefully it's going to go without a hitch. You're going to start your holiday off on the right foot. And that's it. It's that easy.